Hey, good afternoon, guys, and happy Super Bowl Sunday. Tonight is the big game, and sure, I'm going to watch it. I don't have a team involved or anything like that, so it'll basically just be time to hang out with some family and watch a football game. But as you've seen, we've had videos uploading all day. We've been really trying to crunch our backcountry gear list and get it out to you guys as quick as possible. As weather starts to break, planning and getting yourself in shape for a backcountry hunt or fly fishing trip. So we wanted to get that list out to you as soon as possible. But for right now, I wanted to jump a little bit back into fly fishing because part of our backcountry gear list, after we go through the hunting portion, a lot of the gear, the camping gear, the hiking gear, the food, the cooking equipment, will also be used for our fly fishing backcountry gear list. So Keith and I, as I've said before, this is a two-part list, so we're kind of working through my list right now. Some of the stuff will kind of repeat itself on Keith's list, but obviously he has different choices in weapons for the hunt, different fly rods. And what's funny is one of his fly rods actually showed up here at the studio the other day and not to his actual house address. So we were good with it. I got to play with it and see it before he did. So what we're going to talk about today, we've talked about some reels, we've talked about some line, we've talked about other gear for fly fishing. So this is one of Keith's rods that he picked up. This is from Moonlit Fly Fishing Company. So I'm trying to make my way around here because I do have it put together, and I did that backwards. So let's go back over here. So this is a Moonlit Lunar S-Glass 3-weight in a 6'8". So for those of you who might not have heard of Moonlit, Moonlit is really well known because they still make furled leaders. Furled leaders are not easy to make in any way, shape, or form. So these guys focus on that. They do some Tenkara line as well. So they kind of take it back old school. And if you go to their website and read the About Us portion, they started the company because his grandfather was a big fly fisherman and loved to share it with people. And this is a way for him to kind of connect to his grandfather, even though his grandfather is no longer with us. So aside from the leaders and the Tenkara line, they also make rods, and they specialize kind of in the fiberglass world. But this is a newer technology, or as they say, an old glass feel with a modern twist. So the Lunar series was designed to have the old glass feel, but lighter weight with a bit faster action. And this rod is, you can tell it's super fast, which is really cool for being fiberglass because you're so used to the old fiberglass stuff that your arms kind of get tired from making a cast. And the reason you had that feeling is because the tips on the old fiberglass rods didn't recover as fast. So as you're, in your back cast and forward cast and hauling line, that tip wasn't recovering, so your arm was working, for the rod to get your line out. So these guys make a fiberglass rod with a faster recovering tip, and it basically, eliminates that portion of using your arm to help the line. The other thing, so most fiberglass rods, especially in a smaller weight, shorter, configuration, were never really a big casting distance rod. So even though this has a modern twist, and I've never fished it, this was something Keith, looked at a lot more than I did on this particular rod until it got here. So, they have a tapered design in this rod, and what it does is it helps build up a kind of reserve power to give that little bit of extra distance for casting. Now a rod like this, Keith, this is what he picked for small streams, native type fish. I have a rod coming in that will be my smaller stream, native type fish rod. But I really am excited to, once Keith gets this lined up and rigged up and ready to fish, I definitely would like to try it because, it does have a really nice feel to it. That tip does really recover pretty fast, and it's super lightweight, so it's not that old heavy feeling of an old fiberglass rod. the big thing is one, you can see I'm kind of bending it back towards, you know, the reel seat, which is nice, which means you can fight a bigger fish, that the rod's going to be forgiving enough to help get that fish to the net. But what it's also going to do, it's going to be stiff enough for a really good hook set. So some of the old fiberglass rods, they were kind of flimsy, so you really had to yank on that line to hook, you know, set the hook besides using your rod. So this rod, because of the way they made it and designed it, it will help with a hook set. It's a 4-piece, which is really nice for a 6'8" rod to break down into 4 pieces. Super small. So obviously backcountry style, you know, it's going to fit in a pack super easy. It does come with the rod tube and a sock inside, so once it's all split. But this is the rod tube, and you can see I have it, all of the tube in the camera frame there. So that's a definite nice feature. There's size-wise, as far as weights, this rod in the Lunar S-Class is available from 2 weight through 8 weight. So you have a whole, you know, slew of you know, game fish to go after with a rod like this. The colors, I actually really like this color. I'm a brighter colored kind of guy when it comes to rods. I don't know why. So they call this light brown, but it really looks like almost like orangish, like a pale orangish color. And what I really like is the fact that where all of your separations are in the pieces in the rod, and down here by the reel seat where the logo is, it's a darker color, so it just kind of makes it look classy. And then one thing that I was really surprised about, because you don't find this much in fly rods, so Moonlit actually offers a lifetime warranty. Instead of making you ship your rod for repairs, they have a $45 warranty fee, and they send the replacement parts right to you. So if you broke a section, you know, that's what they're going to send you to fix it. So definitely, I'm sure Keith will be happy once he gets his hands on this, because I know he's been waiting for it. But super nice feel. I'm definitely going to want to throw it and fish it a little bit. And stay tuned, because we'll have some other rods that pop up here, getting ready for the backcountry version of the fly fishing list. But again, one key thing that I didn't mention yet, so I don't know if you can really see it here and here. So those 2 white dots. So one of the biggest things with fly rods is when you if you have to break the rod apart. So instance, on a backcountry trip, you're going to have it broken down and in the tube and in your pack. So every time you go to restring your rod, you have to line your guides up to where your reel is seated. Well, these dots are actually to keep your guides in line. So the white dot is on both sections. So that way, when I put this together, or Keith in this case puts it together, all he has to do is line those white dots up, and his guides will be in perfectly straight line all the way up for once the reel is on here. But definitely check these guys out. I'm sure Keith will do another video once he gets it, but I figured I had it here. I was going to do it. So Moonlit rods, guys, it's moonlitflyfishing.com. One thing they did send in for him as well with this is a floating line, 3 weight, and it's specifically set up for medium fast fiberglass rods to fast action graphite rods. So obviously this is it's weighted grain wise. So if you remember me talking about the Moonlit fly lines, they're either a half a step above or a half a step below the standard AFTA grain weights. So this is going to be specifically set up for this rod. This is what's going to help load this rod correctly. So that was really cool. And it looks like it's got a sage green back portion or front portion with a bright high vis yellow back section that's going to connect to your reel. So 3 weight floating line. It's called Nirvana weight forward 3 weight performance line. So also from Moonlit. And like I said, if you're looking for furrowed leaders, man, I remember when my uncle got me started in fly fishing, that's all he ever talked about was furrowed leaders, and not many people do them anymore. So if you're looking for a good selection of furrowed leaders, check out Moonlit as well. Check out their Lunar S-Class rods. I'm going to get this tube back up for Keith. He'll probably be pretty disappointed because this video will pop up on our YouTube channel before he gets to touch it. But hey, it is what it is. But check him out, guys. MoonlitFlyFishing.com. We'll talk to you soon.